It's just Kansas City garbage. I don't even watch hockey. Welcome to Week 13. It's the final week of the season. Final chance for you to make the playoffs. Whoever you are, if you want to make the playoffs. Before we begin, we have a special guest this week. His team, Rudy Period, is 7-5, looking to grab one of those final playoff spots. Scott Pogmiller. How are you, Scott? Pogmiller. What is that, like French or something?
It's German.
Oh, German.
And maybe Swedish and possibly even a little bit of fuck offish.
Whoa, look out. Is everything alright, Scott? You seem a little off track right now.
Well, funny you should ask. I'm glad you had me on this show so I could kind of speak up for some of the things you've got after me on. I've kind of been the butt of ridicule for a lot of these shows in the past. Mm-hmm. Especially the part about my dating life and my relationship status.
Okay, we're getting serious here right off the bat, folks.
Specifically, me not knowing what sex is. I think I know what sex is. I've sexed many girls in my life, James.
Do you use your phone for that?
Yes, Brett Favre style.
Oh,
take a picture of my balls. Send
it to a special lady.
Well, or anybody could be my boss on accident. It's a bad idea.
Are you sure it's on accident, Scott? Let's get to it. We're not going to talk about the standings this week because it's Brandon at the top and then a bunch of other guys, all tied with the same record. Nobody wants to make the playoffs this year.
Apparently not.
Nobody. We're not going to talk about Ridgeway either.
That's not true. We're going to talk about Ridgeway.
That is true. But you picked up another defense, Matt. Again, now I'm going to try not to say really here, but you leave me no choice. Really? Defense? It's unacceptable. You're well short of the $40. You're just picking up garbage. Well, these guys are projected for the most points. I'm going to pick them up and play them.
I think pretty soon he's going to try to pick up like a CFL defense, plug them in, and see if they can get him some extra points.
Probably.
It's kind of a desperate play, Rich, but...
I mean, it's what's next in fantasy football. Mm-hmm. I've also heard that there's a lingerie fantasy football coming up next year. Ooh. Lingerie league style.
Yeah, we need to get that going.
Heck yeah. I'm already in it, dude. Well, I got pay-per-view.
Well, you're ahead of the game, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. So now, before we get to the matchups, we're going to spend a few minutes with Scott. How's your season going so far, Scott?
Well, it's really been a roller coaster of a season. But I'm already looking ahead to next year. I think It's pretty hard not to consider Jay Gordon as my keeper, considering that performance. 230 yards
Are we
receiving.
Talking Jeff Gordon?
1 touchdown. No, we don't do NASCAR stats.
This isn't NASCAR preview?
I mean, if we want to do slow pitch softball stats, obviously Dave would dominate.
No.
I mean, I think he's led his league in slugging percentage, and female catchers ran over at the plate for years running. But we don't do that. Anyway, back to Gordon. I don't know. I mean, I've had some pretty good keepers in the past. Mm-hmm. Mike Wallace, yep. Felix Jones. I'm not really sure if I'm ready to put Gordon on that same level as those guys. Yes.
Is he even in the league anymore?
I think so. I think he plays flag football somewhere.
The Des Moines Public League, probably.
Yeah, we might face him next year. We can get a team going.
Oh, we will have.
He'll be a burner. He'll be a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, they'll probably just hand off to him every time. Like, oh, this is real football, but it's got flags, so don't touch me.
On to the matchups. You don't want to talk about yourself anymore? No, I'm good. I mean, no, it's fun talking about myself.
I had lots of good questions for you, Scott. Like, how's life? How's your Jetta treating you? I was going to ask you some serious questions about what you expect your team to do in the playoffs. If you make the playoffs. But no, we're moving on.
My life is just too dark and complex to go into right now. I don't feel like
we've got 30 seconds of free time here. We could probably cover it all, couldn't we?
I don't want to, James, okay? Let's not go there.
You heard the man. On to the matchups.
Yes, on to the matchups.
First we have You Can't See Me, 7-5 versus Black Hole, record undisclosed. That's a little odd, don't you think?
I think it is. I think the main reason we don't want that record to be disclosed is because of one particular loss that occurred last week. The Tulipa Batman never won a game this year yet.
I had like 8 losses, Scott, that you could have talked about. You choose that one?
I had to bring up that one. That one hurts. I won't bag on you too much, though, because you've been helping me out by beating Dave and hopefully Brad this week. So
that's right.
I'll let it go. It was bound to happen.
I've given you dating tips as well.
Yeah, they've been very helpful.
I mean, I've tried to talk to Megan, but I just don't know. She's a hard code to crack. But anyway, Brad, I see you're probably gonna lose this week, which means you're not gonna make the playoffs. Now, I see your team has really been struggling with Aaron Rodgers, not putting up his normal 30 points a game. I mean, like the last 3 weeks, he's just been struggling. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he goes as your team goes.
Well, let's not go that far. I think it's more his team goes the way that Lance Moore goes. We know that you couldn't fathom not owning him for 1 second.
The guy's good.
Yeah, but clearly he's been virtually non-existent this year.
Non-existent.
So here we sit at 7-5.
It's basically Brad's playoff hopes.
Hopefully out of the playoffs.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Fighting Brown Eyes at 7-5 versus iTouchdown there at 6-6. Now, Joe, with your loss last week, it appears sales of your new app iTouchdown there aren't going so well.
iTouchdown. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah. Apple,
just got it.
Apple iTouchdown, like I own you. Now, Dave.
Clever.
Yes, it is. Dave is sitting at 7-5, a game ahead of everyone. Well, mostly Joe, but I think Joe can win. He had 3 TDs on Thursday out of 3 different guys. It's a pretty good start, don't you think?
It is. Touchdowns all up in here.
Yeah,
on Joe's
not
team.
down there. Those sales haven't been going so well.
Nope.
But Dave did have a pretty good start with 28 points.
Dave's no slouch.
Marshall Murray.
He's the wild card of this league.
He is.
1 week he scores 150, the next week he scores 85. You don't know what to expect from that crazy bastard.
I'm pretty sure he was going to give up when he was like 2-2. Reggie Wayne was out this season. Alfred Morris was out this season. I was just like, he's going to give up. It's like
drafted Denario Alexander, who wasn't even going to suit up. That's what you get.
Is that what you meant by Owensing everyone, Dave? Denario
Yeah,
Alexander?
I think so.
Next we have Beat Kong at 7-5 versus Gronky Kong at 7-5. That's a lot of Kong, Scott.
I like the homage to the Kong series. I mean, it was a great game. I don't know if it's going to be helpful in fantasy.
No,
but time will tell.
I mean, it's like, I preferred well shit, honestly.
I did too.
Nobody even knows what Beat Kong means. I mean, those of us that know Reggie Way know that we pretty much know what it means. Beat Kong. Yeah. That's how he gets his sex, Scott.
Oh, yeah. Light bulb flash.
Yep.
Break.
Now, we don't quite have the money or production value to put a light bulb over Scott's head, but we'll get there.
Yeah, this show's still in the early stages.
Early.
I mean, this is something
we're coming in on like the ground floor.
Yeah.
We're just gonna.
But it's gonna get big. You just wait.
You sit and wait. Sit and wait. Now Ridgeway, his season's been kind of up and down. Started with like a 7 touchdown performance from Peyton Manning. That was pretty good. Pretty sure we all sat back and said, "Whoa, Peyton Manning? Who's this guy? How come I didn't draft him?"
He's a force to be reckoned with, or so we thought.
So we thought.
Then the cold weather came in.
Yep, cold weather. Now, I'm pretty sure all of you were sitting there saying, I want Ridgeway to make the playoffs, because then I can face Peyton Manning in his 16 points a game in the playoffs. I mean, that's like free money, don't you think, Scott?
Mm-hmm. The same could be said about Mario.
It
Facing
could be.
Drew Brees away from the dome on grass.
Don't they have a pretty good matchup with Seattle on
Yeah,
Monday?
they should put up a lot of points, I'm thinking.
It could be a tough weekend for you, Scott. A double whammy, per se. Your fantasy football team loses, doesn't make the playoffs. Then the Saints lose. I mean, I'll give you a call on Tuesday. Make sure you're still alive, okay?
Yeah, let's hope I don't off myself.
Let's hope. But let's move on. Next, we have a matchup with Rudy, period. It's near and dear to your heart. 7-5 versus Desmestic Assault. 4-8. Right back where you belong, Zach.
That's right.
Almost forgot your name there for a second, but can't forget 2 dongs. Which is pretty much what you've done. You went dong. Nobody even knows how you won the championship. Back to dong.
1 team, 2 dongs.
2 dongs.
And most importantly, 2 balls.
2 balls.
On that dong. On said dong.
I mean, they're pretty shaven. I could probably trim this up and put some hair on there just to make it look
to
real.
represent pubes. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, James.
Oh, you want real pubes on there? I mean,
No.
I could definitely.
I think that's taken.
I could provide that.
But we'll do what we have to get the point across.
That's true. So, what are you looking for this week, Scott? Trying to get a W? Or are you just kind of hoping for the best?
That'd be nice. We have quite the log jam.
We do.
At the bottom
of
the playoff eligible teams, that is.
I think you need to win to get in the playoffs.
It would help. It's definitely an uphill battle. The Matt Flynn show did not prove to be beneficial to very many Green Bay Packers owners.
It wasn't like the last time he played Detroit, that's for sure.
Not at all.
Nope.
But it's early. I think Andrew Luck's due for another outbreak
game. When was the last time he played well, honestly?
It's a good question. I think it was against
good keeper.
This team.
What team?
Put up a few touchdowns.
The Fighting Andres?
Ooh. That's who it seemed like all they had. There definitely wasn't any defense on the field that night, that's for sure. Not in the first, not in the second half.
Not ever. They haven't played defense all year.
I wonder if they don't think they're allowed to do that.
I mean, it is a different...
Or if it's like golf and the lowest score wins, and that's what they were going for.
They could be. Well, Scott, I hope you make the playoffs. Maybe. So good luck this week. A lot of you need it. It's going to be tight. It's going to come down to Monday. It's going to come down to points. Yep, points. That's how the tiebreaker will work. Because nobody's going to have 8 wins. You're all going to be stuck at 7. You're all going to be tied at 8. Maybe some will have 8, some will have 7. It's going to come down to points, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Arrow and Snit are securely locked in as the 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're both by. Yeah.
Snit's probably the best team in the league. His record shows that. But it also shows that he's not immune to a stinker on a given week.
It's true.
Take the loss to Ridgeway, for example.
Whoa. Lost to Ridgeway?
Now, Brandon's probably like, Scott, are you really bringing that up? James already mentioned that in the last week's preview. And the answer, of course, is yes.
I try to mention it pretty often.
Because, like that saying goes, you don't mess with the Zohan. The same applies here, Snit. You don't lose to the Ridgeway.
You try not to. You try not to.
7 TDs, Peyton Manning. Doesn't help that, though.
Not going to let that down, are you?
I don't think I'll ever live that down, James.
Well, we better end this before it gets crazy up in here. Before Andre gets bloody and dirty. Don't do that, Scott. So, good luck this week. We'll see some of you in the playoffs. Some of you will be brokenhearted. See you next week.